Welcome everyone, this is Krembo from Emotionless Crypto Trading. Today we would like to talk about Ethereum and share with you the most important details which are hiding between the lines of the technical analysis. Before we do that, let's just talk about the entire space which is moving today, and it's moving in the right direction as a lot of the people hope. Well, as you know, the market is not really reacting to our hopes, and it's not really considering what are our desires. So we have to keep those away while we're trading. That's one crucial lesson to be learned. Great. So what's happening? Well, today the market is shaking and it's moving, and it's in a little uptrend. It's about to form it, which sounds great. So now the big question is how long this is going to sustain until we touch once again some sort of a heavy resistance. That's why we would like to talk about this important price points that you would have to consider for the upcoming movements of your trading business. Right, so the BTC dominance, you can see that it's 54.6%, which is higher than usually, which talks about the last few days. Well, the alts have suffered more, and we know there were change for the last 24 hours. There were alts losing 15, 17%, while Bitcoin was not that heavy on the losses. And it's normal. It's normal. But what can we see as a pattern within the BTC dominance for the last months is while we go sideways and we have little uptrends and downtrends, it doesn't matter. The market is just going still sideways within clear areas fixed by the top and the bottom. Clear areas, right? You go in a rectangle right now. As long as we don't break out some specific lines which are at the top, we're still within the sideways movement market. Good. Now, what happens? Well, you need to get below 50% with a BTC dominance for the altcoin market to take off. Below 50% BTC dominance. If the dominance is going above 57, 58, then due to the fact that BTC is going to dominate the altcoin market aggressively, there's a lot of the funds flying into the BTC market out of the altcoin market, right? So we have to be aware about some specific lines which are going to dictate more or less fluctuation around the area. Great, so let's dive into the next thing, and we're going to speak about the technical analysis. 5-minute candlestick Ethereum paired up with the US dollar. 4-hour candlestick and 1-day candlesticks. These are the charts we're going to handle today. Beautiful. What we have is we're going to start from the top, and on the right side here on the top, 167 is the current price for the Ethereum, and it's priced right there on the charts. What we have here clearly is from this bottom right here is an uptrending channel support line, this green one, which goes pretty nicely. There are some situations where the market reacted positively or negatively. We're going to talk about those very soon, and we have noted down everything, right? So what happens? Well, I'm going to start from left to right, and we've got this high point over here which represents clear resistance to us. That's totally clear. Look at that. The market is spiking right now. We have a long green candlestick, which is about to be created and established, right? So let's get back to our left side of the chart. $165 resistance line, which also confirmed right here. That's crucial to see that after a few days, considering 28th of April and 30th of April, actually 48 hours later, the market comes back to retest the 165 level and confirms on the resistance. From there, it spikes down a little bit. It has a correction, but not too much because the support is confirming here. Then we're trying to recover on the bull side, but then once again, we're falling down and support confirms for the second time. It does confirm like it would be handcrafted on the uptrending channel support line. Keep in mind that market reacts on the lines as long as you know where to draw them. That's what it is. Good. So looking back to the left side, we also had during this movement a short breakdown here, which represented the 163, 162 support area. Exactly in the same place the long breakout happened. And we just had the ability to spike above that. You can see how exactly it spikes with high volume for the 5-minute candlestick, which is short-term details. This is a considerable movement. Let me just take a look at that. It's kind of 1.3% in 10 minutes. That's more than nothing for sure, and it's actually something for our crypto space. Great. Now, then we have reached at the top, right? And we spoke about resistance has been confirmed. We have retested 2 times our uptrending channel support line, and we did this thing quite powerfully. Back then below, we had a few failure movers. For example, the shorts failed to push the market down here continuously. And of course, the support reacted very nicely. On the other side, these 2 points right here, bottom, is actually the place where we got the direction of the green line, which is the uptrending channel support line. Pretty awesome. Now, what happens at the top here? Well, it seems there is a long breakout, but we don't know how powerful is this long. For now, I'm just going to delete this thing from the top, and I like to see this wicks of the candlesticks just like this. Take a look at that. Well, it does share with me resistance, and it's clear that it's happening. So I don't like that. If I would like to buy into to go long, I don't like this thing at all. Look at that. 4, 5 wicks of the candlesticks, all of them appearing around the 178, 167.5, 168, 168.5. So between a dollar price range, the market is reacting very aggressively on the bear side. They're not really permitting us right now. So what we need is we definitely need 166 eventually, if we reach there, to support us, right? So this is crucial. Then we can go towards. If not, if we fall back again, that we would have to see support somewhere around this level. So this is what we could expect about the 5-minute candlestick, short-term details, short-term trading, especially for the day traders. Going towards for the 4-hour candlesticks, same Ethereum paired up with the US dollar Bitfinex exchange. Now, take a look at that. We've got a clear W pattern here appearing, and it's great where it's closing so far. I'm going to talk about that. So the W pattern looks something like this. It's exactly like the W letter. It appears in our case as well. It just flows down, goes up, down, up again, right? So what is important for W is the right wing. Where is this thing going to end compared to the starting point, right? So we have the starting point just like that. It's important to see where the right wing ending point is finishing. If it's above, then the W is considered as a bullish pattern. If it's below, then it's considered as a bearish pattern. Right? So this is how it works. Well, in our case right now, we're trying to close a little bit above than the starting point. It's like just like $2 away, which is not big time difference, but it still calculates, right? So, however, we can see there is a resistance zone applied exactly where we are. Take a look at that. A lot of the resistance appearing, and we're just continuing like this, right? So a lot of the resistance appearing from the past, which is January, and then we have in February, and now once again in May, right? So on the other side, there is about to form an ending of the triangle. Some people would call this an ascending triangle. For me, it's difficult to say that as long as we don't have accurate information telling us it's an ascending triangle. However, we have clear patterns of lows, which are establishing high levels, which is great, and then highs, which are establishing lower levels, which is not that great for the bulls. On the other side, right now we're going to get into a zone where we have resistance appearing as long as we're trading within or below, right? So take a look at that. Let me just try to clear up some of the things. If we're trading here, then it's all considered resistance to us. If we're trading here, there we're going into the support zone of the end of the triangle, right? So The entire resistance zone, which is appearing between these blue lines, is activating as resistance as long as we're not trading above. Once we trade above, the market conditions are changing. And the resistance is going to be only this one, while the support is going to be the one that's sitting below. Right? So what we need is to close above the resistance zone, get back, find confirmation on the pullback. And then once we do that, we can break out of the trending resistance line that's sitting at the top and start spiking again. We're going to retest this zone right here, which has resistance. So take care. 185 represents tough points. But on the other side, we've got great support sitting around this level. 155, 160 for those of you thinking that the market is going to crash once again. It's not likely to happen that, considering we just got supported and it crashed for the last days. We just got supported quite nicely. Look at that over there. So it's fixing right now some defense and it's preparing to close above the resistance zone we just spoke about. Between these two lines, we need to close above it and then attack the trending resistance line. Then blow out once we spike. Pay attention to these prices here. 172, 173. That's the place where if we spike right now, we can start gaining movements up to $200 per BTC. But let me tell you another thing which is pretty interesting. It's sitting on the one-day candlestick, and take a look at that situation. On 26th of April, we had a very important movement. And I'm holding my cross exactly on that. It's just where the very important support confirmation says. You see that red long candlestick which fars below the blue line. Of course you see it. And it's touching our green line, which is considered the 2019 uptrending channel support line. Great. Now, we're touching it. And what happens is exactly the other day is we get supported and come back. Market flies back, which sets clearly another higher low structure. Look at that. This is a bottom right here. $150 was the last bottom we were touching. Today the price is 166. But you can see how today we had a great movement and the candlestick is green once again. Now what happens is that movement was very important, because if we would fall below that, just like that, then there were high probabilities of retouching 107 and $81, right? So 107 and $81 if we would have crashed over here. Well, what happened is exactly the bulls reacted on the line and they just came back right away. They put us on the right track. That's what happened. That green candlestick, let me take a look at that. Where's the measuring tool? 7%, which is awesome, because 7% is changing the market, as you can see. Now, what happens if we break out, because we're about to do something like that, as you can see, is we're going to get into the zones of resistance, $200. This is 230, 235, and 260. Quite difficult, but those are the three resistance lines we would have to consider for the Ethereum current situation. The most important thing is after the three red candlesticks that were touching the support line of the 2019 trend have confirmed, and we fought back. Very simple, but very important in the same time. Right? So this gives us confidence into trading long. As you can see, the channel that we're into, like something like this. Alright, this is the channel we're into. So what happens if it breaks out and goes like that? Nothing bad, only great things. Let's take a look at that. It's just about a C. We need movements, like I said, above 175, 178, 180. And this movement needs to be in conjunction with high volume. If they're not including high volume, then they have high probabilities to be false breakouts. And we can't really trade breakouts that are not including high volume. That's the first sign of a breakout. It does need to represent high volume in order to be confirmed. Right? So that's pretty much all about today's technical analysis. And for now, we've got great news about Ripple, which is one cryptocurrency here that's been increasing 4.58% for the last 24 hours for a reason. They got great news coming around. Compared to Ethereum or Bitcoin, which is just half than what Ripple had to do, still, Ripple index to be added by Nasdaq to its global data platform. Same thing said by the other guys. Nasdaq introduces Ripple index real-time reference to the rate for Ripple, which is insanely great. That's why we had a long spike for Ripple. Let me try to share with you XRP, not BTC, but USD. There you go. This is the spike. This is the spike which happened because of the news. Once the news came out, this is how the market reacted for the first time. Imagine how the market reacts when the entire implementation is going to be completed. Imagine that. And we're talking about real stuff here. Real adoption at a very high level. So we're not talking about an adoption at a local company. We're talking about worldwide adoption while we talk about Nasdaq and trillions of dollars possibilities to gain on the market, which is something we're going to be sooner or later. This one right here is the market cap, 173 billion. I would not be surprised if in a year we're going to be 1.73 trillion. I wouldn't mind that at all. And I wouldn't be surprised. But I wouldn't like to predict that during my video presentations, because that's not our job right here to sound like Nostradamus without being backed up by data. And we don't do predictions which are not backed up by data. The same thing is something I'm suggesting you. And I'm sure you already got used to my videos where we don't talk anything else other than the pure market analysis, which is exactly the only type of information that could be used. Anything other than this is purely speculation. I could come out and put out a title saying that BTC up to $10,000 by the end of May. I could come out and say something like that. I would get, a couple of thousands of more YouTube views. I'll get a lot of the haters out there telling me that I'm a guru and I'm trying to be a charlatan out there just because of the clickbait. I will get some sort of attention. YouTube would pick up my videos. They would, rank me better. They would bring me more audiences. And they could qualify me at higher numbers. This is something a lot of the people do and everyone could do. And I'm trying to explain you in order for you to understand that there is a very, very huge and insanely big difference between the ones talking about the data which is existent within the market, or between the other ones talking about the data which is existent only in their head, right? Only in their imagination. These are the huge differences. We're trying to stick closely to the data that is existent only within the market, and it's hiding behind the lines. That's why it's a language which is pretty difficult to be understood by the ones which are not experienced it. And we're trying to make this familiar to anyone. On the other side, the ones which are collecting the data from their desires and from their head, just like that externally of the market, based on their imagination, then anyone could claim and say that BTC is about to touch $10,000 by 2020, Ethereum $250,000, Ripple 1 trillion, Bitcoin Cash 5 trillion by 2035. And why is it that good? Well, it's great because it brings a lot of the attention to your name, to your branding, which could be used to be monetized. This is a lot of the people don't understand how business work. You need attention in order to monetize it, because that's how you make money. You make money from some people, so you need some people to visit your content, and then you monetize them through different strategies, right? So we don't try to use this kind of tricks, but let's just stay away from this kind of discussions and trying to fix with professionalism. That's all we can discuss for today. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to join my coaching program, one-on-one coaching program that you can take a look at the link in the description area, which explains it all. Then you can also have a Skype conversation with me where I can explain you how it works in depth. That's kind of all about today's video presentation, guys. Feel free to hit that like button, subscribe button. Next to the subscribe, got a bell. Put your opinion in the comments area. And you know what? We'll talk to you soon.